He just said, he's not breathing, he's not breathing. And I'm like, first I thought he was talking about you. I was like, honey, who? And he's like, the dog.
Once you found out it was the dog, you were then concerned. When you thought it was me, you were just like, we need clarification. You are not lying.
Dreaming in red, white, and blue. Only in America. Where you can buy the drugs you want to.
They were like really busy preparing for the trial for the guy that chopped his wife's head off with a shovel.
Would you like to enlighten me with a little tale?
I will enlighten you. But this is going to be more fucked up than the fact the guy cut his wife's head off with a shovel.
Okay.
I really don't have any more details on that because at the time, that wasn't really that interesting compared to everything else that was going on in our life. So the prisoners are out there with fucking axes.
Did your dad really try to kill your mom? And
I didn't realize how well we were trained by the Michigan Department of Corrections.
Isn't that funny? You like a crunch bar?
Yeah, would you like a snack and a beverage while I, murder your father?
How do you know him? Are you related? That's my dad. And he's like,
we're going to be together forever. It's not good. It's not Jesus-in, but it ain't innocent. It ain't innocent, but it ain't wrong either.
But he called my cell phone at the time, didn't have service at mom's house. And so I didn't get his message until I was on the bus the next morning and knew everything that happened. And it was just a quick, simple voicemail that said something along the lines of, I did something bad, and I probably won't see you for a very long time. I'm sorry, and I love you. And that was kind of it. And I was like, interesting. And then Nate, who technically we weren't dating yet, gets on the bus. Nate is 2.5 years younger than me. And he sits in the
4.5 feet taller.
Right. And
he's got a touch of the tism too.
He should, more so than me. And he sits next to me on the bus, and obviously he had News 13 on in the morning, as most of us did, getting ready for school. And he just very casually is just like, do you know a Mark Van Dyke? And I'm like, yep. And he's like, oh, I saw on the news this morning that this accident happened and blah, blah, blah. And he's just like, how do you know him? Are you related? And I'm like, that's my dad. And he's like,
we're going to be together forever.
And he just kind of went, oh. And I think, again, I kind of stunned him into silence that, like, kids don't know how to talk to other kids about
serious things.
Something this serious.
And I just want to say, he is definitely got a stronger touch of autism than you, and you left him speechless.
Correct. And, and the whole rest.
He was able to recognize this is socially awkward.
Uh-huh. So the whole rest of the bus ride, which, mind you, he doesn't live that far we didn't live that far apart via the bus route. So we still had an hour ride to school, picking up all the other country kids. He didn't say anything for the rest of the bus ride to me. He just sat with me quietly, which is probably what I needed at the moment, because I wasn't sure what was going to happen at this point.
And also it's beneficial to have sitting next to you what seems to be a bull mastiff. Right. If you want to lean over and talk some shit to Sandra, that can be a bit intimidating. Yeah. He even looks even more giant next to you.
Yes. For people, I am very small for an adult. He has always been very large for a child, and now he's an adult. He's too big for an adult.
Yes, he is. It's hilarious to I'm not gonna lie, see the two of you standing next to one another when you guys come to functions.
we get that a lot. A lot of people are like, what's going on here? I also remember you coming over that evening. You just kind of sat with me for a while because we're just I am at this point 16 or 17, so you're in your 20s.
Yeah.
And we both just kind of sat there together. I know you're trying to console me, but at the same time, it was very much this is some shit kind of that we seem to come together a lot for.
Yeah.
We just kind of sit together and be like, well, we'll figure out a game plan from here. But
I had spent some time with Dad the night of the accident, not only because he had been at my house, but he called me afterward. And I tried to go out to him so I could be there when the police got there.
Yeah.
And the police had beaten me there, not by much. He was in the back of the cop car when I got there. Thought I was going to get in a fist fight with a cop.
Why?
Well, Dad was, beat up from the accident.
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't giving him any medical attention. I very politely explained to the officer that my dad needed some medical attention. And he got right up in my face and said, "There's a dead girl up there and an injured family. People get medical attention who I fucking say get medical attention." And I, am not somebody, who wishes to challenge authority. I don't have a problem fist fighting a guy with a gun. But anyway, so I dealt with that, and Dad was just kind of like sitting in the back of the cop car, like the gravity of what had transpired. It obviously hit him. And of course, they made him out to be a monster in the news. So.
Oh, absolutely. They really went for it. And so at school the next day, I don't think it wasn't the MEEP test. It was some type of standardized testing for seniors. Mm-hmm. And either way, I had to take this test. And so I just went in the morning and did it. And then and Mrs. Whiteman it was in the multipurpose room, which is, for those who don't know, was basically our lunchroom. And
but sometimes you did other things at the tables, which is why it was multipurpose.
Right. So there was also a stage in there, but not like a stage.
It was a
riser. Yeah. It's not like a stage like you'd see in a gymnasium for like band concerts and shit. Yeah, it was a riser. So Mrs. Whiteman is overseeing like the first chunk of kids that had to come in here in the morning and do it. And I think they work from the alphabet backwards. And so
you're last.
Yeah. So we went in there. I took the test and I'm like, whatever. And then the next day they watched the evening news and then came to school the next day. I had so many teachers that, her especially, well, Mrs. Whiteman was our assistant principal. She came up to me and she's just like, "I am so sorry what your family's going through right now." Like, they knew our family's been through it before. Mm-hmm. They knew all the other things our family has been through and is doing. And now this. And she apologized to me and she's like, "I'm so sorry." She's like, "If you needed time, like, you could have done that test later." She's like, "You didn't need to come to school, nonetheless, take that test." And I'm like,
it's Tuesday.
Yeah. I was like, first of all, who's going to call in for me? Be like, "Oh, Sandra's not coming up." Because Mom wasn't home. Mm-hmm. During all of this shit's going on, and I am home by myself. And that's part of the reason you came over. To be like, "You're okay," kind of thing. So yeah, so there's no one home to call in for me. And I was just like, whatever, I'm just gonna, like, this is what I have to do today, so I'm gonna get it done. Like, whatever. And even like, I go to my freaking, what was it? I don't think it was home ec. Either way, it was Miss Parkhurst. And I'm usually the last person trying to gather up all my crap in class because I have so much of it. I've got trap keepers and books and all sorts of shit. Trying to make sure it neatly goes into my backpack. The tism. Mm-hmm. And
gotta be in order.
Yeah. So I'm not trying to linger after class. It's just sometimes I'm usually the last one to leave class because I'm doing shit like that. And so since I'm the last one left, now I got Mrs. Parker's. I'm so like, "Are you okay?" Like, I'm like, when I was younger, kids that age, aren't paying attention to things like that, the things that their parents are talking about. But now that I'm in high school, those kids are now also watching the news with their parents, mm-hmm. and they know what's going on. They're like, "Oh, Van Dyke, I know a Van Dyke." Yeah, so now it like directly affected me a lot more this time, and I'm just kind of like, how many people are talking about me right now? Like, it just... And then like it felt very like, oh, I know this narrative because I have people that know about my kidney disease because I've had it my entire life. And now, my parents tell, or, the church is telling people about us and our family and me. And like people I've never met are coming up to me. I'm sorry this is happening to you. And then I always feel like, A, I don't know this person. But B, I have always felt, I guess not always felt, but it's always been like a very natural reaction for me to be like, I'm okay, I'm fine.
Yeah, fuck you and your pity.
Correct. I like have to like assure this person.
Yeah, now I got to take my emotional energy so you feel better?
Correct.
Fuck you.
Yeah, so I am like, no, I'm fine, don't worry about me, basically. Like, stop burdening your thoughts with my actual burdens.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you don't know what to say about it, so you come up to me and you want me to be aware that you're aware and you're thinking about me. And I'm like, okay, great.
Yeah,
what do you want me to do with that?
I gotta lend you my fucking spoons.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking kidding me?
The spoons.
Bitch, we only have 7 in our entire family. And now I gotta give you 2?
Right.
Jesus fucking Christ.
If you know, you know. I didn't know you knew about the spoons, and this makes me really happy. And we're not going to explain it. You look that shit up on your own. So anyway.
Spoon theory. Anyway, carry on.
So when I have people now coming up to me about my dad and my family situation, I got teachers that are concerned about me. They're like, oh, she's dealt with this medical bullshit. Oh, her family's also garbage. Like, I don't know. When I got all these people like, oh, are you okay? Like, I got these teachers, are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine. Like, I'm compartmentalizing right now. I'm fine. Like, even if I'm not, what am I going to say to you? Like, this is what's going on. What are you going to do about it? You can't do anything about it.
Yeah, the only thing you got are thoughts and prayers and borrowing spoons. Fuck you.
Yeah. Yep. So I do recognize like a couple of the other couple teachers like actually cared about me, and they took me aside and they're just like, no, really, are you okay? Do you want me to do anything for you? Like, I can always recognize when people are being genuine.
Oh, yeah.
If they're like, versus people like are kind of more.
Reference, we are family. You'll get a very specific person in mind.
Oh,
maybe
boy.
somebody that's only said like 7 sentences to me in my entire life. Anyway.
Yeah, so this felt very like, I don't know. What's the word? Like trauma response, I guess. I was like, oh, I've been through this drill before. I know what responses I can give so people stop talking to me, is what it is.
Yeah.
I want them to go away. If they know what's happening, whatever, but they don't have to come and talk to me about it, because what am I going to say to them?
So you just want me to keep reliving this over and over again and breaking into my compartments. You know that's how the fucking Titanic sank, right? Is because the compartments got compromised?
Yeah.
That's what's going on right here. Let's stop bringing this up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so that first time that Dad went to prison, I don't know why it happened, but I was sent to the school counselor, and I had to go talk to the counselor. And I won't say his name. He, I think he now works at the school director board. But either way, he's a lovely man. His wife's a lovely person. I recently sat with them at a wedding. One of my friends got married. So, but they're Fremont folk. So they're inviting other Fremont folks. So teachers.
That the incest pool has to.
Yeah. So, they're inviting the important people in their lives, teachers, coaches, whatever. So they were both at this wedding, and I was just like, well, everybody I know that's at this wedding, the reason I was invited, they're all either the people getting married or they're in the wedding party. So I can't sit with them. They're at their own special table. So I need to find someone else to sit with. And I was like, I'm going to go sit at the teacher's table because I recognize a few of them. And so I sat down.
Hi, I'm old enough to be drunk.
Right. And so I sat down at the table, and I remember talking to these people, and we were all just kind of introducing ourselves real quick and saying how we know the bride and groom. And I was just like, oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah. I'm Sandra. And I was just like, oh, you guys.
Oh, you did not get the Van Dyke silence, did you?
No, I didn't play that card. I played.
By the way, that's a thing. When you say
sure
your
is.
last name in this town and suddenly everybody gets really quiet. And they're like, oh, bless your heart.
Yeah, usually when I say my last name, I gloss over it real quick. And
Sandy Van Dyke. Sandra Lois Van Dyke.
Oh, you were there. Yeah. But I just told, they're just kind of, I know they're kind of like trying to place me. And I was just like, oh, I am the girl that needed a kidney transplant. And they're like, oh. So
yeah. By the way, the crazy part is that's the small detail.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, it's like saying, my new car's red. You bitch, you bought a Camaro.
Yeah.
You know, but enough said.
Yeah.
Enough said. Okay.
Yeah. And I never had his wife as a teacher, but, you know, for most of his career, he was a counselor at the elementary school. I did not want to tell him, oh, you recognize me because I was one of your quote unquote patients. For 2 weeks, I had to come to your office and talk about the incident that happened with my dad and my perception of it. And I just remember going to those visits and it being the most uncomfortable half hour of my life. Because remember, I didn't really have a relationship with Dad, but suddenly I had this like really visceral experience with him that didn't harm me directly, but it was, you know, certainly going to be a grounding moment in my life, core memory. And so, you know, he's asking me questions like, you know, how do you feel about your dad? How do you feel like this has affected your relationship? And like, he's really trying to play it off like I'm, you know, I'm the daughter and my daddy went to prison and how's, like, I guess it didn't really affect my opinion of, well.
Holy shit, is that 25 weight paper? That's going to be great for origami.
Again, you were there.
I know my sister.
So he's asking me all these questions that just aren't applicable. Because he has like this very like, he has a nuclear family. He has a son and a daughter and a wife that he has now been married to for over.
Probably married her without a shotgun or the kids being there first. You know, all weird.
They're like the quintessential Fremont family. You know, got a little money. Both of them are in the education system. Like, it's...
You know, to give back.
It's great. It's good for them. Like, I'm happy for them. They're wonderful people. But, like, he's asking me these questions based on his training and his experience in life. And his experience with father figures and all that, and what he thinks my experience probably was. And I'm like, well, you know, my dad was never really around. I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. So, like, I found it kind of funny, like, all of these years later, I'm now sitting at this table with him at this wedding, and I know he's trying to place me, and I never told him that's why he knows me, because of this horrendous thing that happened, and I was forced to go sit in his office and talk to him.
All you had to do was make a swan out of a napkin, and he would have recognized you right away.
Yeah.
When I was in elementary school, Mom and Dad went to a marriage counselor at the church. And I know that because I got called into the office to go see the school counselor. And I was in 4th grade, 5th grade. So Kent had died.
I showed up.
My parent, fucking ruined everything.
I sure did.
Yeah, you show up. My dad's a cokehead. And, you know, because crack hadn't been invented yet. And they're just like, oh, how are you? I'm like, I'm okay. And they're like, asking me really stupid questions. I'm not going to bust out the lady's name either. She tried really hard to relate to me. But like her, you know, she's dealing with children. And she's asking me really, what seems to me to be really fucking dumb questions. Like, is this glass of water half full or half empty? And I'm like, does it really matter? What are we? It's 50%. What are we driving at here? I did great on my fractions last year. Why are we having this conversation? And I learned all my times tables. What are we doing here? And why are there goddamn clowns in your office? Why do you have all these pictures?
Not the clowns.
And I don't like clowns. They creep me the fuck out because they're hiding some shit. That's why they wear the makeup. They're gonna fucking rob you. And good thing I don't have autism. So like, I'm making her angry. Like she's getting frustrated with me, but she's trying so hard, and but she's got nothing to relate to me. She's like, "Is it difficult for your family right now, having a death?" I'm like, I don't know. Nobody's talking. How does that make you feel? I mean, nobody's yelling at me, so I guess good. Uncle Kent, how do I feel about it? And I'm thinking, oh, that's that fucker that drowned me. He tried to murder me. I'm like, yeah, Grandma's real sad. How do I feel about it?
You're like, I feel safe now.
Yeah, I'm like, I mean,
I'm a little conflicted.
Yeah, like
I feel safe now, but at what cost?
Yeah, and also, like, this is also, like, my realization that apparently I don't feel things like other people, because I'm like, I feel bad that other people are sad.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at her like, that's the right answer, right? You know? I'm like, yeah. And we couldn't get anywhere. And she was also my counselor person in middle school, and I don't remember what I got sent down there for. I don't know. Dad was probably gone for like 2 weeks or so. Or they found, I remember what it was. They found out, I don't know how, but they found out that I was watching you guys. Like alone.
Yeah.
And like, how are you doing? And I'm like, I'm good. How are you doing? We understand that, you know, you've been really stepping up and helping out with your siblings. And I'm like, yes, I have. That's good, right? And they're like, yeah. They're like, so you're helping with the meals? Yeah, I make them. Yeah. And you've been helping, and they got schoolwork. Oh yeah, I make sure they get it done. Yeah, that's what I'm supposed to do, right? And I'm like, I'm thinking like I'm missing something I'm supposed to be doing.
Right.
Like I have no idea that they're driving at, are you okay? This isn't normal and this is a lot to ask. Meanwhile, I'm like, what the fuck am I forgetting? What have I not been doing? I'm not an adult. I don't know these adult things.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, just tell me what the fuck I'm missing. I'll start doing it. Jesus Christ, why are we having this thing?
Right. You're like, may I have a crumb of context?
Yeah. I'm like, why is this?
God.
And I don't know. So that was weird. But anyway, when I was driving it. So when Dad went to prison the second time after he killed the girl, like I lost my shit for the first time ever. Like it may have been the first time in my life I cried. Like I locked myself in the bathroom at work and cried like the entire day. Because for me, this was the first time, because this time was different. He wasn't fucking with my sisters and my brother that didn't know him. You know, he had left my new family, my kids and my wife. And most critically, this time was the first time since Troy shooting that kid in the head that we hurt somebody outside of our family. And that was different.
Yep. It's funny you say that because I also remember like, oh shit.
Like this isn't our internal problem anymore.
Correct.
This isn't in-house.
Yep.
And that was different. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know how to deal with that. And, you know, like you were saying, I was like, oh, real sorry, you know, is there anything I can do or you want me to do anything? And I'm like, you know what you can do is shut the fuck up and let me work.
Yep.
You know, but I couldn't. And so I went and I saw my primary care doctor because I don't remember why. It was like, it was an appointment that was already scheduled. And he's like, how are you sleeping? And I'm like, I don't know. I'll let you know when I get to sleep. Because I wasn't. I wasn't sleeping. And I wasn't really eating. and I was doing pretty terrible. And he asked me some specific, and I was honest with him about what was going on. And I got to tell you something. He was the first person that really did something that helped. He gave me Xanax. Now, I call that fuck it all, because it will emotionally blunt you just long enough to get through it. Mm-hmm. And that's what it did. And, I mean, I still got a prescription for it today. I mean, I take it, a couple times every month or something, like once or twice a month. Now I just take it when I can't fall asleep. But I was like, it was freaking awesome, dude. It's like, here's some trazodone and Xanax. I'm like, yeah, you're goddamn right. Fuck yeah. And, and that's how I got through it. But he was the first person to provide any real help. And of course it was pharmaceutical, which kind of made me feel conflicted because of the whole, drug addiction and alcohol, causing the problem to start with.
Right.
But I was so worried about forming a habit. That's why I didn't, regardless of the reputation, I didn't do like a lot of drugs because, I'd do them, but like I wouldn't do a lot of them. And I was very, very conscious about how often I did them because I didn't want to develop a habit. And then it wasn't until later on that finally like 3 doctors were like, dude, you do not, whatever that gene is for addiction, like you do not have it. Like it's not there. So just chill the fuck out. Like take your damn medication. So, but anyway, so that was different. That was different.
Should I ask you some of these
Yeah.
questions? All right. So we have, what were your thoughts? So this is pertaining to the very first time I guess let's both times.
Okay.
What were your thoughts when you first laid eyes on him after the incident? Like once he's behind bars, what were your thoughts?
The first time around, I felt terrible because it was my fault.
Why do you say that?
Because it was. That was my perspective on it at the time. And, kind of still is. I mean, my job was to babysit him. My job was to keep an eye on him. He got fucking retarded drunk with Harold. And he came back. He passed out in his trailer. And me and Harold stayed there till like 2:30 in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. And he hadn't budged. So Harold went home and I went inside down to the basement here and I went to bed. And then I was woke up in the morning by Grandma because the police were there. Mm-hmm. So if I would have done my job, which was to keep an eye on him, he wouldn't have went over to Mom's in that morning. And that was my fault at 15 years old. And that's how I felt when I saw him. I felt I'd let him down. Mm-hmm. I felt that I'd let you guys down. And frankly, I didn't give a flying fuck if I let our mother down. And I don't know if that's something I want to discuss with the mics on, but you know what? I'll edit it out later. So for me, it was trying to resolve that issue. If he was really trying to kill you, why'd you hide behind your children? And if you didn't believe he was trying to kill you, why did you want him to be charged with attempted murder? And so for that, no matter how you slice it, whether she put her life to be more important than y'all's, or whether she was just lying to be vindictive in a divorce and put him in prison and take him away from you guys, I didn't find it to be forgivable. So I felt I had let everybody down, and I still do. So that's how I felt the first time I saw him behind bars. The second time, I was angry until the moment I laid eyes on him. I was angry at him because he tricked me. He tricked me into having hope. He finally decided to step up to be a dad and protect his daughter from, an abusive boyfriend. And that's why he left my house.
Yeah, we actually didn't talk about that. And I don't think we talked about it really we kind of glossed over it in the Christina episode. Why it all happened and how it happened. My My understanding is, so kind of at the height of this, that Christina's involved with Kyle. She was kind of bouncing back and forth about, she's like, oh, he's not going to leave his wife. This is not sustainable. He's getting more and more shitty towards me. So Kyle can feel her backing off.
Yep.
And the only person that can protect her at this point is her dad, who happens to be around this time. And I don't know why they were having a conversation over the phone, whatever it was. But
I can fill that in.
Oh, then please do.
Not for the first time. Kyle had used his hands to enforce his control.
Okay.
And again, that's not something I witnessed directly. It's just what I was told.
Okay.
By all the parties.
Yeah.
Except for Kyle, because I didn't talk to Kyle anymore.
Right.
And I know of another incident where he did do that. And there are 6 witnesses to that, and they all told me about it. And I stopped talking to all of them until just very, 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 very recently, like a couple months ago.
Yeah, because what did they do about it?
They sat in the house and did nothing while Kyle beat her up in the bathroom.
Well, my understanding is the catalyst that made him go and grab his keys was Kyle saying to our dad, "Fuck you, I will always have your daughter."
Mm-hmm.
And Dad said, "Okay, motherfucker." And he said, "I'm coming to kill you." And our dad probably has a touch of the tism. So he doesn't really joke about much, but when he says something like that, he's not joking.
That's not a threat.
No, it's a promise.
It's instructions.
Correct.
I'm giving you a heads up.
Yep.
Do what you feel you need to do. I'm about to do what I'm going to do.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why Dad left. And originally he was supposed to be at a bar in Whitehall.
Yeah, he's supposed to be at the Eagles.
Mm-hmm. And so he found out that Dad was coming for him, so he left, and Dad chased him all over the area. And during this pursuit, got dark out, came up on an Amish cart, and just plowed into the back of it.
Correct. The Amish buggy was on the road, not on the shoulder, because there was no shoulder, because it was down a hill, and they didn't cut a shoulder into the hill. And having glaucoma and driving a pickup truck that sits up high, he never saw it.
Yeah. Yep. So it's a very unfortunate situation. I really feel for the Miller family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate because he of all of the people that probably deserved it. I know it's awful to say. I'll probably go to hell for saying it. I kind of wish Dad followed through that night.
That's not awful for saying. I agree with you.
If he was going to go to prison that night, go back to prison.
That would have been the reason. It would have been, okay.
Make it beneficial for us.
Beneficial for society.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're not kidding.
But yeah, that's how I felt about it. But when I saw Dad, I wasn't angry anymore. I saw Dad broken.
Yeah.
The only other time that I saw him not to the same degree, but in the same sort of state was after that Pizza Hut incident.
Mm.
I met up with Dad at the campground the next day, and we talked about it. And, he says, "Hey, I just want to let you know I'm real sorry about all that. Thanks for taking care of everything, like always." And I said, "Here's the thing. You want to duck out on me? It's okay. I'm a grown-up. Do whatever you want. You hurt Sandra. You hurt Amy. And you hurt Jenna. I said, if you want to be a crackhead, I don't care. I said, but what I'm not going to do is tell my children their grandfather's a crackhead. Don't do to them what you did to my brother and my sisters.
Yep.
And that got to him. But not a lot. From then on, he would just give me a heads up when he was going to duck out so we could pack it up and leave so the kids wouldn't see him just sneak off and disappear.
Which, that was very... I'm sure there's a great big long German word for it somewhere. But that was a very real feeling. All of these people saying, oh, how sorry they are for me. Like, if I need it. How was I to tell these people, yeah, I'm upset that my dad went back to prison, but I'm more upset that he didn't complete his mission.
Yeah.
And end the life of a person that I so viscerally hated. And being, at the time, a good little Christian girl, felt very conflicting in my soul. But at the same time, when this person also felt like the devil to me, yeah, so, and I have all these people, like, really just taking time out of their day to try to console me. I'm like, I felt an anger at the injustice of it all. And that the problem with Christina and Kyle was going to continue to get worse. That I was like, yeah, that's great. Thanks for feeling sorry for me, but my family's, like, really in it now. We really are scrambling. We got bigger fish to fry. Shit's about to hit the fan worse than it ever has. Yeah. Because we've been trying to deal with this situation as it's ramping up. It ramped up this far, and then nothing became of it other than him going back to prison. Now we're really just, things are falling right the fuck apart. I'm like, so, I mean, really, these people are trying to, comfort me. My mind's not even there. I'm like, okay, great, thanks. I don't know. It was weird. It was a weird time.
It was. Yeah. In the end, it gave Christina what she needed to break the spell.
A little bit.
I mean, it only cost all of us our father. And I this is probably going to sound crazy to you, but I don't hate Kyle anymore. I don't feel anything towards him anymore. I honestly thought he was the devil, and frankly, I don't believe in the devil. And I'm going to edit this out, but I could literally and not feel anything. Yeah, I'm going to need to edit that. Do I, though? Yeah, I probably should, in case something happens.
I didn't see or hear a thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. So anyway, that's the answer to your question. Did you have another one?
I sure did.
Okay, I apologize.
I do. No.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, when I was talking to that counselor lady when I was in elementary school, that's when I came up with the phrase, I feel bad because I don't feel bad.
Yeah.
Which was my way of saying that I didn't know how to express at the time. I think it feels bad that I don't feel anything.
Oh, what were your concerns for us when these things are happening? I mean, I know you kind of talked about it a little bit, but are there any like specifics that just kind of like made you sit back and go, fuck?
Yeah.
Other than first time around, you're a teenager trying to live your life and do teenager things. And then second time around, you're a young husband trying to live your life and do your thing.
The first time I was worried that because of everything that was going on, we were going to lose our line of credit at the pharmacy for your medication. You know, this is a town where everything's on reputation, and we didn't have any to start with, and we're making withdrawals on an empty bank account.
Yeah.
And my worry is that the actions of Dad were going to cost you your life. And I don't mean that like metaphorically. I mean that quite literally.
Right.
Where they're going to be like, I'm sorry, but we can't.
And as someone who grew up in Fremont, that makes total sense to me.
Yeah.
That checks out.
So I immediately went to contingency planning and said, okay, if this line of credit gets cut off or gets frozen, how do we pay for this very expensive medication? As a 15, 16, 17-year-old, how do I pay these bills? And I got entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
Which, with great irony, made the owner of the pharmacy more concerned about the contingency plans.
He had some questions.
But I had to tell you, he was a man of integrity.
Yeah.
You know, when he figured out what was going on, he was like, I would much rather run it on credit than you pay me cash. I would rather pay for it out of my own pocket than you do what you're doing. And I told him if he kept to his word, I'd keep to mine. And I did. I stopped that entrepreneurial activity. I moved on to DirecTV. But, I mean, there was a little bit of lag time in between. But that was good news because it allowed me to, make sure I could get the minimum I needed to pass high school.
Yeah. That pesky thing.
Yeah. But I didn't. I mean, my first priority was making sure that, you guys were going to be okay. Trying to make sure David didn't follow in the footsteps of Dad or the character I made.
Yeah.
For, my entrepreneurial activities. That's what it was. It was a fucking character.
Yeah.
I didn't do drugs. So, and you might say, why not? Is it because of the concerns of addiction in your family and this and that? And the partial answer is yes. But the long answer is no, absolutely not. I didn't do drugs for two reasons. The pain that was my life I deserved it. That was my penance. And that emotional pain reminded me I was alive. And number two, if you do drugs, then that's taking away from the money you're trying to raise to start with. So cut it out.
Yeah.
You got bills to pay, bitch. Right. Be focused. Eyes on the prize. So now I was worried about the renewal of this whole, Dale Kent Troy thing. Because, when I was coming into school, they didn't mention, oh, you're related to Mark. Uncle Dale was always complaining about. There was, you're Troy's nephew.
Yep.
You're Kent's nephew. Oh, fuck. Sometimes for the older guys, it was, oh, you're related to Dale, so you must think you're fucking hot shit. And it's like, I'm just here to learn my fractions.
Right.
So I didn't want you guys, dealing with that. I knew that I could handle that. But I didn't know whether or not you guys could. But either way, I thought it was irrelevant because I didn't think it was fair.
Right.
I would say probably, the people find out you're related to me, your teachers, right? They're just like, oh, great. Ryan's a fucking smartass. They're not like, oh, Ryan was getting fucked up in the bathroom and passed out on the toilet or something, like Troy or something, So it was a different sort of thing, right? So yeah, I was worried about that. That's mostly what I was worried about. And the second time around, because it happened to somebody outside of the family, the biggest thing that I was like, I can't manage this. There's no spin control for this. We're fucked.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do to protect Christina. I can't even see her.
Yeah.
How do I help Sandra when I'm emotionally crushed myself? And, how do I explain to my kids that Grandpa's gone?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I guess that's what was going through my mind.
Oh, what were your concerns for Grandma? Certainly on that second time around, that you're like, she's a little older now and still has to go through this again, to a degree even harder because it was outside the family. She's spent a lifetime of trying to corral her boys, keep her name elevated in her church and in her community. But now this has happened and she can't sweep this under the rug.
So I'll say this time it was a joint venture. So when Dad got in trouble the first time, Grandma handled the legal end of it. Mm-hmm. This time around, that was not the case. It was Grandma and I both in the lawyer's office, working out legal strategies and all that kind of stuff. This time I was not going to allow her to shoulder it on her own, because I'm going to tell you right now, you know what? Here, I'll ask you, what do you think Grandpa's thoughts were time 1 and time 2?
Well, I heard directly from his mouth that he wanted to dump all of his shit on the lawn and say, get the fuck out of my house. You don't live here anymore. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. You live on your own now. Don't ask us for help anymore. We've helped you plenty, and you still can't figure it the fuck out.
Yeah.
How about you go be homeless for a while?
Yeah.
Let us enjoy our retirement.
Correct.
We've had enough heartache and heartbreak.
From all of you little motherfuckers.
All of y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Let us enjoy ourselves. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And who can blame him?
Oh, God, no. No. I mean, Kent was their hope.
Yeah.
Nobody was surprised Troy died.
Yeah. Well, so Grandpa was like the extreme end of just fucking over it.
Mm-hmm.
And Grandma was the bookend to that of extreme enablism.
Yep.
And they both just sort of...
And in the middle, I lived in their house.
Yeah. So it was just this like, nobody speaking to anybody, just trying to keep the peace. It was just, to be honest, a testament to how in love they were, because I'm surprised their marriage lasted and made it through this.
Considering that Grandma spent all their remaining retirement savings.
Correct.
And borrowed money to pay for his legal fees.
Yep.
By the second time. I mean, it was...
Yeah, there was quite a few conversations she and I had at this dinner table, just shooting the shit on a Sunday afternoon. And almost every single conversation somehow led into finances, of her very casually saying, oh, I'd get this, this. She's like, oh, no. All the money's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And she's not, she's just reminiscing out loud with someone to hear it.
Yeah.
She knows there's nothing I can do for her. Mm-hmm. But she just, I think it's more her. She's just like, yeah, we really had something going, and it's all gone.
Yeah, the children ruined it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and they weren't. That's a different conversation. Maybe we'll have that one sidebar. But there was some other things that happened when retirement first started that didn't involve the kids that fucked him. But
I know Grandpa's job screwed him.
And the health insurance.
Yep.
And then there was an investment that crazily they invested in .com.
Huh.
Anyway, there was other things too, but that was
right.
This is what finished him.
Right.
I mean, that sucks. It's sad, but their kids ruined them.
Right.
So I'm sorry. What was the question?
What were your concerns for Grandma?
Yeah. So first time around, it was being there. And I knew she was having a tough time because she told me it was my fault the first time. She was the one that pointed it out, and I couldn't unsee it. I mean, she took it back in her own way, which is not bringing it up again. But, because that's how women in my life apologize. But, yeah. So that's that one.
And we already touched on this quite a bit, but my other question was going to be, what were things that were being said in the community and in school? For me, it'd be school. For you, it'd probably be more community.
We felt we got ran out of Fremont. And we realized it was going to be impossible for the kids here.
Mm-hmm.
So we picked up and moved. I had this fantasy that if we moved somewhere and we just got to start at zero, we could make, the Van Dyke name positive, and this and that. And I was absolutely right. That was the part that was shocking to me.
Yeah.
Like, when we lived in Grand Blanc, it was like, oh, Van Dykes, those are good Greek Orthodox Christian folk. Even the atheist wife brings the children to religious education in Greek school.
Mm-hmm.
Because the children made the commitment to God and church, so they're going to be there.
Yep.
Come hell or high water, but she doesn't believe in anything but the high water. She's going to make sure they're there.
Oh, my gosh.
So that was,
Well, that was the point I started making about me going to college, that I was excited to go to college. I'm like, I finally have my juicy new kidney from David.
Yeah.
Because at this point, my entire high school career up to this point, I had been on dialysis, so I'm only going part-time. And so I had to go super senior year. And so some people would be like, oh, well, you were there for 5 years. And I was just like, well, technically, I wasn't even there for 4 combined time. So I went for the extra year. So by the time I was finally 19, now I'm starting college. And even though it's Muskegon Community College and eventually Grand Valley, and then eventually I transferred to Kendall, I'm like, none of these people know who I am.
Or care.
A bunch of my professors are art. And so they're going to be very interested in the things I'm doing and why I'm going here. Like it felt much more of the educational experience that I had always wanted.
Bullshit. It was just the first time you felt like you belonged somewhere. They were judged on your own merit.
Yeah, so I was like,
what is going on? What do you mean I did a good job? Fuck you!
Right. So, and just as well, so they don't know who they didn't know the Van Dyke name, they didn't know all the bullshittery from Dale or Kent or Troy.
Yeah, because let's be honest, no one in our family went to college.
Right. But also, nobody knew about my kidney stuff.
Yeah.
I was just showing up looking healthy now.
Yeah.
Year prior, I looked like a corpse, but I was like, all right, now I have kidney. I'm good to go. I just went to class and did my thing. And every once in a while, I'd either not be in class because I still had to go to Grand Rapids to go to a checkup appointment or get blood draws or whatever, or have a full day of body scans of some sort, whatever was on the menu that day. And so once in a while, I'd have to tell a teacher, like, I am taking a sick day. I know I only have so many, like, we'd only have, 3, I think, per class for the most part. Like, I'm pretty sure I still have friends. They were good friends of mine in college, and we're now Facebook friends. So I keep up with them and what they're doing now. They don't know I've had a transplant because it just never came up. Yeah. We're just talking about life. We're talking about all of the good stuff.
And you get to lie and pretend like you're normal.
Yeah. So unless it came up somehow naturally in conversation, it just never came up. And some of them know I have a medical thing.
Yeah.
But they don't know what it is. And they're just but they're normal people and they're like, well, that's none of my business. So I'm not gonna
Yeah, it's not Fremont.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're not going to have this beer? Okay, whatever. More for me.
Right.
Good. I didn't want to share my natty ice.
Yeah. I mean, that experience just a lot. I was just like, this is great. I can just be a normal adult. And I guess in a way be accountable for just the things that
you could be accountable for you.
Yeah. Yep. Wow. I was like, this is great. So sometimes it burned my ass because I'm like, yeah, I have this kidney thing going on and I got really, really sick this week. But, and that was part of my thing at Kendall that I ended up dropping out of college because that was at the end of my college career and I was getting really, really sick. And I'm either skipping class or if I'm in class, I'm falling asleep and I can't stay awake. Or I just in general feel like shit. But I'm like, I can't give this sob story like I could. But I was like, the rhyme to my reason is I can't give this sob story to my professor about what's going on in my life because like everybody's got shit, right? Mm-hmm. But also, this is college. I applied to be here. Mm-hmm. I was accepted. Mm-hmm. This is technically a private art college. Yep. Like, I am choosing to be here.
Yeah, and you're not meeting your end of the deal.
Yep.
Regardless.
Exactly.
You're not holding up your end because of your shit.
Yep. That's exactly it. I was like, I can tell them what's happening, and they'll be like, that's great. I'm sorry. But if at the end of the day you can't do this, maybe you shouldn't be here.
Correct.
Is what their response is going to be. Correct. And I knew that.
And, just think, if you would have made it one more semester, you would have hit that class where you're like, oh, there's deadlines on podcast art for merch. And sorry, I had to have that in. I couldn't resist.
But anyway.
I'm not going to edit that. Anyway.
So either way, it was now giving me like the full.
Hold on. I just want to say, I know after I just said that, a lot of you guys are going to be like, what are the insults y'all edit out? And to answer that question, none of your fucking business. So, those are inside jokes.
Yeah. So those, I mean, really just like the full human experience in college that I finally got to have, that no one's like looking at me with these eyes and these looks, that they know all of these things about me. They've never had a conversation with me. All these fucking people in Fremont, they don't know me, but they know these things about me. And that fucking pisses me off.
I don't understand this college experience you speak of. That was nothing like mine.
Well, you were there for like a week, weren't you?
I have a degree.
Oh, that part. That part.
Actually, I got 2 degrees, bitch. What's up? Yeah, that's right.
I thought there was this thing that you tried to go to Muskegon Community College or something, and it was a whole...
I did. Yeah, but it got all complicated because, like, they wanted dad's income.
Oh, that's what it was.
And I couldn't... And I don't remember. And I was supposed to get him to sign something, but I'm like, I can't do that. I have to pay a lawyer to bring him a form.
Right.
And it's going to be like when, and they're like, we don't want to hear about your drama. Just fucking have him sign it. I was like, I can't just have him sign it. That's not how this works.
Right.
And they're like, well, if he lives far away, just mail it to him and mail it back. You got 3 days. And I'm like, if I mailed it to him today, he might get it in a week or 2.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And they're like, where is he? Korea? And I'm like,
bet he wishes.
Yeah. I bet he wishes he was in North Korea. He's like 2.5 hours away. And they're like, well, just drive there. And I was like, that's not going to work. And so I could, yeah. They're like, all right, well, you just got to pay cash then. And I'm like, well, I made a deal with this pharmacist. And they're like, that's fucking weird. And I was like, it's not going where you think it is. But anyway, so yeah, that's how come I couldn't go.
Isn't it weird that incident affected so many weird little incidences like that?
Yeah. Huge effects. Because then I was like, well, I guess I'm going to go work at a gas station, which turned into, well, I guess I'm going to go be a fireman, then 9/11 happens, and then that was freaking weird. So I'm probably going to edit this out. Not enough people talk about the good things about 9/11. So yeah, go ahead and look at me like that. But let me tell you something. So right after 9/11, I got my equipment in the back seat because I'm going to a training, right? Firefighter 1, Firefighter 2 training. this girl in the Burger King drive-thru's like, hey, what's that back there? And I was like, oh, it's my gear. I got to go to training. And she's like, you're a fireman? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, I get out at 9. And I'm like, I'll be here at 5 after. She's like, all right. You know how easy it was to get laid as a fireman then? Holy fucking shit. It was insane. It was like being a rock star, okay? So I'm going back and forth to firefighter 1 and firefighter 2 class, whatever, just banging whoever on the side while working at Mom's machine shop there in Middleville for cash. God. And I there's this gas station.
She whored out all of us at that machine shop.
Oh, God,
shop.
yeah. And my friends, too, I might add. But so I would just, on my way to the fire station where I went for training, which was a neighboring fire district, there was this gas station I'd stop at to pick up some Camel Red Lights, cigarettes. And if you don't know what that is, look at like a magazine from like 1997 or 8, and that was an advertisement. It was a real thing. They don't exist anymore. The Camel Reds now aren't. Anyway, not the point. So, but that's what the cool people smoked, man, because it was like ads that like had a vibe of the 1920s. But anyway, and I'm fucking glamorous, so that's what I'm gonna fucking smoke. Actually, I don't think they had any men in those ads. Who were they targeting? So, anyway, at this gas station, there was this fucking hot little redhead that was selling me fucking cigarettes. And they didn't stock Camel Red Lights at this little hillbilly gas station because that's for bougie bitches. So she stocked them for me. And then I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be responsible. And for like the first time ever, I was like nervous about talking to a girl. So I was like, oh, I can't work at this machine shop that pays me like $20 an hour cash anymore. I'm going to go get a job at this gas station and make like $7 an hour in between going to classes for the fire department. So I started working there so I could work up the courage to ask her out. And anyway, I ended up fucking knocking that bitch up. And that was my wife, my ex-wife now. So that worked out great. And they don't even make Camel Red Lights anymore. Fucking bullshit. I don't remember where I was going with that, but...
I don't remember either.
What was the question?
What were things being said in the community / school?
Oh, yeah,
and then I
yeah.
started talking about my college experience.
Boom. Oh, yeah. So, like, when I went to college, none of that happened. So, when I eventually really did go to college, I was old. I think I was, like, 27 with 3 years experience or something when I started college. And I was going to the university. I was doing it online. But then I would go to the community college in Flint during the day for classes because I worked second shift. So I was doing like between 15 to 20 credit hours a semester while working 60 hours a week. And it was an hour and a half drive each way to and from work. So I was doing what you called not sleeping or being a productive parent or spouse. But I was determined to get this shit done as quick as possible. I was going to get my 4-year degree in like 2.5 to 3 years. By the way, on target. Just want to throw that out there. Fuck yeah. But anyway, like when I would go to the community college and like I went to this accounting class and there's this girl who sat next to me. You know what her name was? 20-year-old. I don't fucking know. Because she'd be like, hey, Ryan, so did you like do the homework and stuff? And I'm like, yeah, of course I did. And she's like, hey, can I like get your answers? And I'm like, no. And she's like, you sure? Just fucking starts flirting with me. It was pretty obvious. She's like, hey, I'll fucking blow you or fuck you if I can get some homework answers. And I said something I never thought I'd ever say. Honey, what the fuck are you going to do for me? You are 20 years old. You have no idea what it is you need to do. Okay? Let's be honest. Like, I'm going to have you I'm going to bring you home and my wife can tell you what chores she's not doing because she doesn't work. Okay? So we have somebody that actually cooks and cleans around the house. That's the only use I have for you. Okay?
So Nate, for those who don't know, my boyfriend travels a lot for work. Like 2 years ago, he had to go to Utah to go to a job site. And I remember typing on his Facebook page, I was just like, come back soon. I love you. I was like, if you bring back a sister wife, make sure she does laundry and dishes. And I wasn't joking.
Yeah, exactly. It's weird how things change as you get older. I'm like, I was like, girl, you're 20. You don't have the confidence to do the things we need done. Okay,
Yeah.
let's just be honest here. You still have respect for yourself. We don't got time for you.
Right.
You can't do the things it takes to keep a married person satisfied. If I brought a chicken in the bedroom, you wouldn't know what the fuck to do. So anyway, but that was like my college experience. It was different. I was just making people mad at me, I guess. It was very clear nobody had ever told this girl no before in her life.
Yeah.
Just did not know what to do. I'm like, that's why we can't be a thing.
Yeah, right. I got one more question.
Okay, what you got?
Okay, pertaining to like us kids so both situations have happened. Is there anything that we said at the time that gave you pause?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Big time.
Okay.
In Grand Haven. I came in the trailer to interrupt you guys playing video games to let you know that Dad was going to be gone that he was gone. And you guys just said, okay, and kept playing your video game. Knowing he wasn't going to return probably the entire time that we were going to be staying there.
Well, that was the norm.
That's my point.
Yeah.
That's exactly my fucking point.
Whoops.
So there was that, and David would just disappear with whatever the fuck that damn kid's name was, because they'd take weed from me or whatever. And I'm like, dude, I mean, I guess I can't tell you can't smoke weed. I mean, you're a grown adult, you're 13, but like, tell me you're leaving. And he was like, you don't have to tell people you're leaving to do drugs. And I'm like, yeah, buddy. Yeah, you do. I don't care if you smoke weed. I mean, I do. You probably shouldn't, but like, I want to know that you're leaving.
Yeah.
I don't want to worry about you. So, and how do I mean, again, I talk a lot of shit, but I love my brother, but he's not very perceptive. I mean, we're in a park of transients.
Yep. Next to a highway.
On the fucking, US 31.
There is a garden fence separating and a tree line running. So the garden fence is running through the tree line that's separating the campground from the highway.
Yeah. So I'm like, you can't just disappear. You just tell me you're leaving so I know.
Oh, wait. Sandwiched between the highway and then on the other side of the campground is the train tracks.
Yeah. So I need to know you're leaving is all.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. Just let me know you're leaving and who you're with. So that way, if I see one of the fuckers you're with and I don't see you, I'm be like, what's up?
Right.
That's it. I'm not asking a lot here. But yeah, that was his response, And I realized two things. One is he thought that was normal. Mm-hmm. And also that he didn't realize what a pedophile was and why some of the people were living in that park.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck. I mean, you girls were more cognizant of your surroundings by far, but I don't know. Christina walked around like she fucking owned that goddamn place.
Well, she did that everywhere.
That's true. But she especially did it there. I mean, she walked around like she was a goddamn queen. I heard her, like, I walked up on her a number of times saying, yeah, my brother's Ryan. And I'm like, Christina, cut your shit. You're going to get me a stupid tax. Or I got to pay people more to keep an eye on you fucking idiots. So I guess those are some things that kind of disturb me.
To her defense, I definitely pulled that card out of my back pocket a couple times.
Well, look. There's a time to
Not
play
necessarily
the card.
At the campground, but
no, it makes sense. That's a card to play. That's why it's there. But you don't lead with Trump. You know what I'm saying? There's a Euchre reference for all you non-Michigan motherfuckers. But you can't play Trump till Trump's broken. And so she didn't have a reason to play a Trump card. she's just leading with it, doing this kind of, do you know who I am? That sort of things, and I was like, God damn it.
I will say though, was it 4th or 5th grade? Since of course mom or dad wasn't there, dad was in jail. Mom was whatever she was doing, never home. You chaperoned my trip with my 4th or 5th grade class with Miss Hannah, and we went to a nature preserve.
Yeah.
In the wetlands of Michigan. And there was a boardwalk, and we walked through all the different places. And we also went to there was the wetlands, and then, I think it was a 6th grade camp, maybe, because we tie-dyed T-shirts.
Oh, yeah.
And did a bunch, but there were a couple guys in my class that, really latched onto you. They were just like, oh, man, this high school or just graduated kid is so fucking cool. More cool than my older brother or any of his friends.
Oh, I was in high school. I skipped school to go to it.
Okay. But
just wanted to throw that out there.
I remember the next day we're in class, and I had the clicky guys that are over here sitting together in a group with their desks, and they all turn around and they start asking me questions about you. These guys never talk to me. These cool kids, I was like, and they're just like, yeah, what's his deal? And I was like, what do you mean? And they're like, what's his deal? And I'm like, he's a hippie. I don't know. Is that the answer you're looking for? Yeah.
Yeah, it's the epitome of not giving a fuck.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, when other teachers are talking to me, they were very begrudgingly having to talk to me like I'm an equal or an actual parent or human. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, whatever. They're just like, God damn it.
That might have been the same year you took me to I think it was what is now the Quest building. Well, it might not be Quest anymore, but they had a harvest festival / Halloween night at this building, and there was a hayride involved. Mm-hmm. I don't think Halloween costumes were in yet, but I painted those little tiny pumpkins that you can get, the real pumpkins that you can get from the grocery store. They're usually 2 for $1. And I put a little kitty face on it with little kitty ears. There's a picture of me somewhere holding it. You might be in the picture, but I was like, oh, this is the greatest night of my life. I was just my adult took me out for a night of fun. The school advertised this thing that they were doing after hours if your parent wanted to bring you to this family fun night. And I pitched it to you. I was like, wait, he's driving. I'm like, would you take me to this? And you took me to that. And I had a great time. It was wonderful.
Yeah, it was kind of funny because to me, when you pitched it, it was like you had this revelation where you're like, I think other people might think you're a grown up. I mean, I've always thought you were a grown up, and they said you weren't, but I think they might think you're a grown up. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, why not?
Yep.
For 2 reasons. Number 1, it's gonna make my little baby sister fucking ecstatic. And number 2, it's going to make a bunch of fucking uptight Fremont motherfuckers really fucking, their assholes are going to pucker.
There was a span of time you were really pulling out all the stops for me.
Oh, yeah.
This is just when I happen to remember the most that I'm making core memories. So you brought me to this harvest festival thing. Mm-hmm. You went on this chaperone trip with me in 5th grade.
Yeah.
You brought me to the Pokemon movie when Pokemon made its own movie.
Yep.
And you, no questions asked, brought me. Mm-hmm. And it was amazing.
The movie was terrible.
Nate and I watched that on Netflix the other day.
It was terrible, wasn't it?
It was an experience. When they all cry together because Ash has turned to stone, when he jumps out in front and Mewtwo shoots him with the laser ball. I assumed that would break him into a million pieces, but in anime world, it just turned him to stone.
Yeah.
But then they all start crying because of this beautiful sacrifice, and all their tears come together, and he comes back to life. Cinema. Mm-hmm. Pure cinema.
I have to tell you, it really fucked with my friend's parents, because that was the big thing for me when I got my driver's license. I was going to be able to take you to the things that, parents should. and do the things with you
Yeah.
because you were pretty much abandoned. Like if you weren't dying from your kidney disease, mom was like, cool, I can go live a life and actually have one.
Yeah, that's
I'm not faulting her for that. I don't blame
right.
her.
And that's part of my, like, I had mentioned it before. I don't remember in what episode that mom and I have a much better relationship now than what we did.
Yeah.
Like,
Me too.
when she was around and was my mom, she was a great mom.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if we had a regular Saturday, we'd just go to North Muskegon. We'd do some grocery shopping, might stop at the greenhouse and putz around a little bit. And that, you know, we could have a normal afternoon on a Saturday. But quite often the time I was spending with her was because we were in the car driving to Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
That's when I was spending time with her, was her triaging my situation of whatever was going on that week. But other than that, like, we didn't do mommy-daughter stuff. She's just like, okay, Sandra's good for right now. I'm going to go do this. And, like, I didn't know any better. So I'm just like, whatever. I'm just going to go traipse around the woods and go do art shit. All by myself, because my coolest older brother has a car, and he's doing his own thing. Whatever Nuevo cheerleader he's got in the back of his car this time, I ain't going to bother him. That ain't no business of mine. Walking past his bedroom early morning because the laundry room is a truck away and I have to pass his bedroom door. I say, hi, Ryan. And on the way back, I say, hi, Ryan's girlfriend, because I'm no idiot. I'm not going to mention her by name because I don't know which one it is. But I want her to be like, aw, Ryan's little sister's so cute. She thinks I'm his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Be like, nah, bitch, that's not what's going on.
yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, that led to a lot of, oh, is this official conversation? Fucking brat of a fucking sister.
So yeah, so it's kind of like that kind of was our relationship in the beginning, but now that, like, I'm an adult and I'm stable and can take care of my own health stuff, when I come home, her and I can do normal stuff, and, like, we have a hobby of, like, beach combing together and thrifting and going to greenhouses still, but now I have my own house I can buy flowers for. So yeah, our relationship's definitely a lot better that we can have, like, conversations. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really have any parental relationships when I was young. I was just sort of existing in whomever's house under whomever's care, but, you know, I didn't have the, like, oh, I'm bonding with this person because they took me to my first whatever. Like, I didn't really have those experiences. I had adults in my life because they had to take care of my kidney stuff. But most of the people that I had those types of relationships with was you and David.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are taking me to go do something to, yeah.
And that was, you know, always my goal is to try to give you whatever I understood from TV to be normal.
Right.
I tried to give you that normalcy because I didn't know what it was.
Right.
You know, so I was guessing.
Yeah. We
Um,
all were.
I'm guessing this is what normal people would do. And I didn't look at you as a little sister because, like, for you, both you and Christina, from, you know, the time you guys fucking came home, it was taking care of you. Like, Christina, like, as soon as she came home from the fucking hospital, I'm changing her diapers. And my mom will tell you, like, Christina didn't want anyone else to change her diapers and take care of her but me. You know? That was, like, instantly what I was like. From the moment you two were born, I was like, I'm a parent.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, that's so cute. Oh, look at that helpful little boy. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, carry on.
I don't even I kind of went off on a tangent here. I don't even remember what the initial.
But first of all, it was your question, but we
know.
talked about me taking it, and David to a lot of stuff and trying to give you some normalcy and be cool. And it started with Christina pulling the "you don't know who I am" card with my brother's Ryan.
Yep, there it is.
Because she sure didn't say my brother's David.
Yeah.
But, you know. And to be fair, it's because David was younger. So.
Yeah. Well, like I had mentioned before, David was in the same boat as Christina and I.
Mm-hmm.
That he wasn't David, is that he was in the same boat as Christina and I, that he was just young enough that he did not harbor the same responsibilities that were placed on you So he still had the ability to be a kid and fuck up a little bit, and like it wasn't his fault. It just yeah.
Yeah, I got robbed a little bit on that, I guess.
A little bit.
And I'm like, I don't know. I don't feel like I got robbed.
Well, if someday you decide to find that you were, I would agree with you.
Well, I can't be robbed of something I didn't have because I didn't feel like I missed it because I wasn't like, the reason why I was so quick to jump on, being, like feeding Christina and changing her diapers is because that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted to do. That's why I was so excited when, Amy was pregnant. That was awesome because, that meant one of us was really excited about it. And, cause she was scared to death. Like I hardly knew her. So, but I'm like all excited because I get to start this whole thing over.
Yeah.
And with great irony, it's the problem with dating now is I'm like, yeah, I'm not having any more fucking kids. Like I'm looking forward to grandkids now. I've already done the family thing twice. I don't want to raise kids a third time.
Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you covered a lot of them. I mean, I didn't actually know what was going through your head through most of that time because, I was trying to do this thing where I balanced wanting you to know you could talk to me, but I was also scared that you would ask me questions because I didn't have any answers. And I didn't want you to know that I didn't have the answers.
Yeah.
I wanted to always seem confident, like I always had things under control and that I was some form of stability. So I guess, did I pull that off with you, that balance of pretending I had an answer and things were under control?
So here's the thing. I feel like it goes back to I knew how to respond to this emotionally for myself because I already went through the kidney transplant stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very much like I wasn't going to ask because it also felt like my flag to bear, and it was like, okay, well, I'm going to again compartmentalize, and I'm just gonna maybe have a quiet moment to myself, and then I'm going to exit my bathroom that I shut myself in. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to pull myself up by my bootstraps and I'm just we're going to do this. But I mean, that's how did our grandma do stuff?
Yeah. You break down on your own goddamn time.
Yep.
And when you come out of the bathroom, you put your faux smile on.
Yep.
And you get to work.
Yep. And if people ask questions, you put them at ease. Absolutely.
You deflect, you defer, and you comfort.
Uh-huh. Yep. So that's kind of it feels odd to say now, like, of course I know I can come to you with anything at any mm-hmm. time, but at that time I just wouldn't have. Mm-hmm. Like this is like he's got like we're both dealing with this at the same time, but like there's a chunk he has to deal with and there's a chunk I have to deal with, and we're just going to do our own thing. If somehow we meet in the middle at certain points, so be it. Mm-hmm. However, yeah, it's I don't know. It's another thing that like I feel like this is something we could end almost all of our podcast episodes with, that like it's weird to talk about these subjects because so much of it is things that other people do not experience. So how do we talk about it?
Yeah.
Other than just express exactly what we were feeling in that moment. But now that I'm older and more educated, when I say what I was feeling as a teenager or as a young child, I'm like, there's like the narcissistic, sociopathic like ways I leaned into that I'm like, maybe I should have been seeing someone.
Yeah.
Like things, like I didn't want to talk about it because I didn't want to burden people with it.
Yeah.
But also things should have been pulled out of me because it wasn't a normal experience. And now as adults, we still don't really have the vocabulary to talk about. We're just saying what we felt at the time, which was our unprocessed feelings that probably weren't healthy at the time, but it's the way we felt regardless. And
you should hear this podcast raw before I do the edits. I spend most of my time removing silence where we're trying to think of word to describe.
Because we've never talked about it before.
No, we've never talked about it. And also when you're trying to reach back, I don't know if it is for you, but for me, a lot of times, like when I reach back, it's the same, whatever I was feeling then. And suddenly for a moment there, I'm stuck with the vocabulary of that. And I'm very much in that moment.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, bring myself back. Okay. What are my big person words for this? you know?
And the other thing is, so people, how do I want to say this? People were talking to us at the time about it, but we had to mask our response of what we were going to say. Because again, it's the protective, because like, so this traumatic thing happened to us. People are hearing about it through the grapevine.
Or
and
news.
Yeah. And we know that certain people that are bringing it up to us also have like their own sheltered life.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also part of it. We're like, oh, I could trauma unload on this person and tell them what really happened and how I really feel.
Ooh, yeah, that's awkward when you do that on accident.
However, I also have enough wherewithal to not do that. So I'm just going to tell them, like, things are okay. Like, we'll get through this kind of thing. So, like, even at the time, like, we just weren't talking about it. But now we're talking about it, and we're like, wait a minute. I felt this way, and I know now that wasn't a healthy way to...
Yeah.
That's not a normal response to that, but it's the way I felt nonetheless.
Mm-hmm. That's how I fell into the roundhouse, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
Well, yeah, those are all fucking weird hippie outcasts from wherever.
Yeah, that's true.
And we didn't talk about what led us to be there. It was just
The Lost Boys Club.
Yeah, that's really what it was. It was just people was like, all right, we're gonna hang out. We all know we've experienced some things. So if like there's some, and this is the 90s, right? And yet there was trigger warnings. It's like, hey, you can't say that. You can't say that word. You can't do that around that person. And it was just instantly acknowledged that, okay, that's just a fact. I accept that. I'm not going to do that. And you did not dig into or ask why. Mm-hmm. That wasn't your place. That wasn't your business. And you were going to do that because the same respect was extended to you. So.
Whereas like now, so like even in like young people now, they're so accepting. They're so like supportive of people living their truth. And
yeah, it makes me so angry.
A lot of them are given so many tools early on. But that's part of like social media now is like, okay, if it's not helping someone directly, you can take these tools and have this knowledge to help someone in the future. And it's like, I can't imagine where we'd be if we had this much support. But
on the other end of the coin, we also would have received nonstop messages from people who'd be like, hey, did your dad really try to kill your mom? Did your dad really fucking kill that little girl? You fucking piece of shit.
You're right.
You get both.
You're right about that.
And where we live, the support wouldn't be coming in. That would be like theoretical support you're reading on a website or a blog or whatever about how to do whatever. But the people who we actually know and interact with would be the negative people. And it would just be, it's all amplified, is my point.
That's true.
So, and the cool thing about us in that day and age is if we didn't want to interact with it, we can go home and not talk to one another.
Yep.
You can't do that anymore. You have to power your phone off, and then how are you supposed to watch TikTok?
Right.
You know? As crazy as that sounds, I mean, I don't know, it's weird in that regard. Oh shit, I lost what I was going to say before that. Darn it all.
That kids have the support.
Oh yeah. So you know what? I wasn't going to share this on the mic, but all right. So this summer I went to my first Pride Festival in Muskegon. I had CCW. Fuck you. I carried my gun with me because I was worried about what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you something. There was all these young people running around, gay women, gay men, bi folks, trans folks, and they were just queer and proud, and they were so happy to be living their fucking truth. And it fucking pissed me off. It really did. Like I was like, I want to slap some of these little shits. Being all fucking proud. It's like, you keep that fucking shit to yourself like I did. You don't fucking advertise that. What the fuck is wrong with you? That is wrong. These fucking hillbillies are going to see you and they're going to fucking beat your fucking ass. It's called fucking queer rolling. You've never fucking heard of it? Jesus Christ. Put the fucking flag down. And so I'm walking around all pissed off and I'm by myself because I moved out here. I don't have any friends. And not that I'm going to ask to go to a fucking festival with me. Anyway, so I'm walking around all angry and I see somebody else looking cranky and older lesbian lady. And she's like, how you doing? My wife and I, we sell candles. Do you want to buy some candles? And I'm like, your wife's making you do this, isn't she? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, because, everything's the fucking same. Okay, just everyone's aware queer relationships are the same as straight ones. It's all the same. And she's like, yeah, she's making me do this. I was like, all right, well, do you have any like hillbilly repellent or something in one of those candles I can light and just make my neighborhood disappear? And I told her where I lived and she laughed and thought it was funny. And she's like, what the fuck's that sign say? Pointing down at the crowd. And so I bust out my phone and I zoom in on it and I'm like, oh, there's one go away queer sign, whatever it said. And there's the rest are, support. And she's like, man, it's messed up. She's like, I'm just waiting for these motherfuckers to show up. And she's like, that's why I got my 9. She's open carrying a 9mm. And I was like, oh, that's pretty nice. And she's like, yep, it's my Glock 9mm. And I said, oh, it's fine. It's a fine sidearm. And she's like, what you got? I was like, oh, I got a fucking Smith. I was like, I got an M&P 40. And she's like, oh, fucking 40. I was like, oh, I'm going to drop that hillbilly through all 300 pounds of that fucking fat, hollow points and everything. And she's like, right on. She's like, we're going to hang out. So I sit down and I start talking to this lady. We're both pissed off for the same reason, mind you. And I find out she was the bartender at the gay bar in Muskegon Heights, our bar. And I didn't know. She fucking remembered me from when I was I started going in there when I was like 16 or 17 because I was a designated driver. And she remembered me. She's like, holy shit, you used to have like really fucking long hair and used to weigh like 100 pounds. And I'm like, bitch, there's no reason to be insulting. I got old. All right, whatever. I'm fucking 27 with 14 years experience. There's no reason to be fucking bitchy about it. Anyway, she's like, yeah, I fucking remember. She's like, every guy in that place was buying you a fucking drink. And I was like, yeah, it was all fucking weird because I don't drink. And I was like, all my friends were like, shut the fuck up, bitch. Keep getting us drinks. So yeah, she remembered me. But anyway, so there's us two old fuckers there being angry at all these fucking kids living their fucking truth all open and honest. And I just wanted to share that because I was pissy, but that was the thing. Hi, Josh. Are you all right over there? He's laughing at me.
He is.
Why are you laughing? Funny. Well, that's how I felt. I mean, fucking little pricks being all happy and shit. You think I was wrong?
No.
And all right, so I went to another Pride Festival this fucking summer. I went to the one in Newaygo because I was like, the hillbillies are coming for that one. I was like, I'm ready to fuck up some hillbillies. Hells yeah. They showed up, man. Right across the street. They hung out at the church and they sung hymns and they didn't dare to come into the park. There was so many fucking queers. And, oh my God, I forgot. All right, so for you cis straight folks, queer is anybody who is not straight or cis on any of that spectrum. So just so you know, that includes that whole, all the letters pretty much, except for maybe asexual, I suppose. But
The whole alphabet mafia.
Yeah, they're all queer. That's the correct language to use, correct label. It's just pretty all-encompassing. Anyway, I was pretty sad, too, at the fucking Nuevo one. But I did run into my old friend Maya, so that was pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, I think he was trying to figure out why I was there. It'll be okay, dear. We'll figure it out together. So, anyway. Can I help you, son? Yeah, you can have a Gatorade.
And what? And also, wasn't I also at that Nuevo?
Yeah, you went with me to the Nuevo Pride Festival. Yeah, I took my son with.
Yeah, it was interesting. I'm pretty sure I flipped them off.
Yes, you did. You flipped off the Jesus freaks.
I almost agreed that your church is wrong, mine's right. Love everybody. I wanted to scream that, but then I also didn't want to get them to actually get off their ass. And I think insulting their church would have done that.
Yeah, I would have. Wait. I'm kind of happy you didn't incite a riot, but
It would have been fun to watch them get curb stomped.
that would have been hilarious.
Oh,
Yours can fight.
Josh. While you're here,
Yes.
did you ever have any thoughts or questions to us about our father and what you happen to know about him?
The mic's right here.
All right.
I know that's a really big, broad question, but
Correct.
we're coming to the end of it. But you are an entirely new generation. Do you have any thoughts or questions about it?
Hey, Pessimism and Pop-Tart fans, Sophia here. Want to thank you so much for listening to Part 3 of Father's Day at the Michigan Department of Corrections. Up next is Part 4, where my son Joshua gets to ask all his questions about his grandfather, Sandra and I's father. It's a great episode, and it is a Patreon member exclusive. So if you go to patreon.com/pessimism and Pop-Tarts, not only do you get access to bonus episodes like this, you also get discounts on merch, early access to episodes a week before everyone else, ad-free, and of course, if you sign up after 3 months of Patreon membership, we send you out a free gift. So thank you all so much. Look forward to seeing you guys again at the next episode. If you like the podcast you just heard, please like and subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, check us out at patreon.com/pessimism and Pop-Tarts. There are special benefits for members, such as ad-free listening, early access, and free and discounted merch for members. There's a plan for any budget, from tent campers to those of you MFers throwing around RV money. You can also get the latest updates on our website, pessimismandpoptarts.com. Whether you're a patron or just like the show, please tell your friends. And if you hate the show, you know what? Tell your enemies, because frankly, they sound awesome. Anyway, until next time.
And more amusing. But why can't you just be cool? Why do you have to lose it? Losing into you losing me. Refuse to use, I choose to run. Catch me.